Good morning. How you guys doing? Today is day 2 of going walking. I am I started yesterday because my girls kind of pushed me to, and I wanted to wake up early to start today, but I stayed up late last night. I was supposed to wake up maybe about 7, like 6, 7, and go walking. That's before the sun comes up. But I stayed up until like maybe about 3 a.m. Yesterday when I got back from walking, I went to, we went to go look at the damages on the tornado homes. Went to just a short little drive. We didn't do a big one. And I came back home, showered, and went to sleep. I slept maybe about I said like 4 hours. And then the phone woke me up. And then like maybe not even 4 hours. It didn't seem that long. I don't know how long I slept for, but it's a little bit. It was satisfying. And then Wani from Wani's house, she called me, and that had me. Well, I was already awoke, but kind of give me a little jolt. So I got up and got me some leftovers after I got off the phone with her. And what I had for leftovers, I had I baked some turkey wings, dry bake some turkey wings, and then as you guys know, I'm seasoned it up real good, and I baked the turkey wings, and then once it crisp up, I removed the turkey wings from the baked pan, and I like using the old-fashioned baked pans with the little specks on it. It crisped things up so nicely. So I after I after I did that, after the turkey wings cook, I took it out of the pan, and then the drippings from the pan, I cut up some onions, some bell peppers, but I call them green peppers. Honestly, I don't even know if there's a difference. I told y'all nobody taught me how to cook, so I just call them as I see them: red pepper, yellow pepper, bell pepper. Does it look like a bell? I don't know. It's pepper. And good morning. Thanks for stopping by and saying hello. It's cold outside, but I figure if I don't go today, then I'm going to slack off, and then eventually I wouldn't go. So that's why I'm pushing myself. I'm wearing a sweatsuit, fleece sweatsuit, and this looks like leather, but it's not. It's like a snake skin. Yeah, so I'm pushing myself. So after from the turkey drippings, I cut up onion, green peppers, garlic, and What else I put in there? Oh, I did put one of those onion soup packs. I put one of that in there, and I put water, and I let it. I put it back in the oven and let it cook out for about like 5 minutes, and then I used my wooden spoon to get the remnants up from the bottom of the pot from the big pan, and then I add some roughly chopped carrots to it, and that's what I made. I think Thursday, no, Friday night dinner was baked turkey wings with the turkey dripping sauce. I don't even know how to call it. Just put it together, and the sauce browned up on its own because leaving the turkey to crisp, dry, it made like it kind of charred on one side, kind of brown on one side. And what I made again? Oh, Melissa, that's the second child. She made Brussels sprout. Good morning, morning, Mildred. Um, Mildred, I think I'm going to go on live today. I think I might come back and cook with you guys. I'm going to make, I think I'm going to make curry crab claw with crab meat and dumplings. And I might do the flatbread. I think one of the kids or two of the kids may want rice with their curry. And I don't know what type of vegetables I'll do, but I may come back and cook. Anywho, Melissa she had a taste for Brussels sprouts. So I already had some in the fridge. So she wanted to know how to cook them. So I told her was to put a pot of water on the stove and blanch the Brussels sprout and take them out, and she was gonna do like a little salad with them, but then she was like, no. After she tasted them, she was like, Mommy, something else. So I told her was to put a little olive oil in the pot and roast them a little bit. She wanted to use a cast iron pan, but I don't let them use a cast iron pan on the glass stove. I don't like electric stove. I'm going to blink a couple times and see if it disappears. And my home I have gas in the home, so eventually I will put that electric stove downstairs in the other kitchen and put a gas stove upstairs where I cook often. Yeah, so while I was between sleep and wake, yes, and I had the turkey in the fridge, but I was like sort of tired on the Friday. So she roasted it a bit on on the gas stove, like number 7, because high is just too hot, and let it get a little char to it. Put a little butter in the pot, get a little char to it, and then I told her to put some cranberries. Good morning. Put some cranberries in a little bit of hot water, and cranberries in is a wine, cherry wine. It's a cooking wine, and she put that in there to wake up the cranberries, make them plump, and then with a little bit of remnants in there with the wine, she put that in the pot and allow it to cook out together with the Brussels sprouts. Add some pine nuts to it, and that was the Brussels sprout. And then I made, I think, some turnip greens. Actually, the food didn't look like it was going to be enough. So I said, let me add some more greens to it. Some turnip greens. And then I told Melissa, make a cornbread, Jiffy cornbread. And the thought of the meal I was going to do originally before Melissa come in to wanting the Brussels sprout. Actually, I was going to make the turnip greens, the baked turkey wings, the same gravy, and I was going to make the Jiffy stuffing and make cornbread stuffing with it. Use the Jiffy and turn it into stuffing. And somehow along the way, because Melissa came in and started doing stuff in the kitchen, it started to change the direction of the meal. And then once I came out and I look at everything together, and I know my kids like variety, that keep their mind and their mouth happy. So then I also made some mashed potatoes with just regular mashed potatoes. Put a little extra butter in there. You know, butter make everything better. So that's what I had yesterday. I know I took you the long way. So that's what I had yesterday, leftovers from Friday's dinner. And then I'm going up that hill. Then I sat around for a bit and I started doing videos. I'm still in the bathroom. I'm doing the bathroom series where it's going to be a year next month since we moved into the home, and I have not done anything to my master bathroom. Good morning. I can't see because of the weather. There's no sunshine, but I'm glad you came in. Yeah. So I'm walking because yesterday was the first day of my walk. Like, my girls kind of propelled me to do it. They already went this morning already because they woke me up around, I think, like 9 o'clock and told me they were going. Come on. But I was too sleepy. I went in bed like 3 a.m. because I did, let me see, I did 4 videos last night. I did 4 videos, edit all of them, and I uploaded them, but I haven't released them as yet. So I have meanwhile I'm working on the bathroom, I have I think it's going to be, I would say there's going to be 6 videos. I think it's going to be more because I was breaking videos up, but my boo told me yesterday, make them more than 10 minutes. So I did that, lengthened them, and I mean, it's all good content, but I want you guys to individually see how you could take something that was nothing and turn it into something that is very pleasing to the eyes, and you could have your own at-home spa for like next to cheap, because, well, next to almost free, because some of the pieces that I'm using for the bathroom, everything was thrifted or I already had, and is great storage idea. Like some of the things are from the Dollar Tree. I mean, your money is good with you, because you see, like, no one really, was expecting this type of disease that hit the whole world. No one thought, like, whoever thought, like, we all would have been stuck in the house, like in a cage, looking out to see, like, oh my God, is this thing going to affect me and my family? But what's bothering everyone, a lot of people, is money. That's some of, that's what I'm saying. If you could shop cheap or for like next to free, why not? Why not? So I want to go up here. I want to touch each part of the neighborhood. So just showing you on a budget, or in such a time like this when it's not safe to go to any store, even if it was open, because your life is at risk, how you could, make your home fabulous, that you don't really miss outside. And I know eventually when I show you guys my garage, and to think of these times here where we can't go to the stores, that when you cannot go to the stores, that having these little things in your home, like one of the things we love to dine, whether it be at home, whether it be traveling. Babe, I can't read the comment. I'm going to have to see it after. I'm sorry, Mildred. Yes, whether it be at home, home shouldn't just be somewhere where you lay your head. Your home should invite you in, and you both should feel good about each other. Your home, feel good being decorated. I mean, it doesn't have to be to the max, because you could just use what you have, as long as it's clean and it's put together, even though you may not do seasonal decor. But if you just do a little thing and to just make it livable and nice and smelling good for you, because if you will decorate your home for somebody else, it will be somewhere where you're not comfortable with. You want to put yourself into the home. When I say yourself, your thought, your creativity, whatever, put all the goodness, things that when you come home, guys, I'm sorry. Mildred said feel like a cage animal. Yes, you if you look at it that way, yes, because it's like you're inside and you're looking out, and especially people with like health issues that you really can't interact. I heard of this one lady where she is the one that's sickly, but her family, like I think her husband still work and like one or two of her kids still work, and she cannot interact with them at all. She is locked in a room and cannot come out and interact with them because she could really like die because they are going out, and any little cold or sniffles or whatever she may get because of her immune system, she is gone. So it's like she's hiding from her family and her family's keeping away from her. I mean, whoever thought that that would be a situation? But you got to, I used to hear my mom say when I was younger, like the things that she said many years ago when I was younger. I'm like, this lady is wise. Like, it's like you just never let things define you. You gotta roll with the punches. Um, what she say? She said a lot of different. Hello, good morning, Carla. Yeah, she said my mom had a lot of different sayings, but it's all to humble you and make you look at life different. Like another thing my mom always saying, she'll get on us for years for that because she always said she grew up very poor where they didn't have much. Sometimes they went to bed hungry. And there's a saying that my mom always used, like you can't gather and scatter at the same time. And what she meant by that, I used to be like, oh Lord, this lady always got something to say. But I mean, truthfully, she's like, gather and scatter. What that means is, it's like you can't save and spend at the same time. It's like, another analogy that I could use is like you raking up leaves. You raking the leaves up, and meanwhile you're raking the leaves up, you blowing them. You're gonna defeat the purpose. And in saying that, when I say you can save and spend at the same time, well, the amount you save in is the amount when the money is not coming in, or for some people who get like Social Security or whatever, and their money is just this amount every month, it doesn't change. It's like you spending what they give you, but yet you're trying to save. It's gathering and scattering. And when I was younger, I just didn't understand that. I just thought this lady just liked to talk. So now that I get older and with more responsibility, you could either make it stressful, or you could say, you know what, as of today, this is what I'm going to do for my life and my family and my friends. So a lot of things that my mom said make so much sense now that I'm saying it to my kids and I'm like, oh my God, I sound like my mother. Yeah, but also my kids was raised with my mom saying the same thing to them. So it's not like me not hearing my grandmother say it, but hearing my mom say it, because I didn't hear my grandmother say it. I hear my mom say it. But them being around my mom, even though she didn't live here, but when she came up, she gave them life lessons and, how to save, because no one taught her that at a young age. She learned it at an older age. So she taught the kids that, and with whatever I implement. So that is life. But we were talking about my bathroom and making your home be that sanctuary, that peace, that, yeah, I could have go travel. And guys, y'all know I love to travel all over the world, okay? We just had to cancel a trip. We were supposed to go to Cayman Islands, actually April, early April. We're supposed to go for, I think 7 days to the Cayman Islands. That was another birthday trip my husband was taking me on. And once I see this start happening, I'm like, I'd rather be caught in America because if America can't figure it out, nowhere else could, you know? I said, I'd rather be caught here than caught anywhere else, and then we can't fly. So early, I canceled the trip. And I mean, I don't miss it. The reason why I don't like miss traveling, which I cannot travel. So I got to just make the best of it, right? But to each time we travel, I absolutely enjoyed. Like, my travel was not about keeping up with anybody. It wasn't about all the sightseeing. It was about my peace, my relaxation. And the beauty about it, my husband also loved to travel, and we have the same pace. Like, we could look up a country and say, oh, we want to go there, or an island, and we will have a list of a few places within that island or country that is a landmark or hotspot. And we're like, okay, let's put all of these things on the list. But we always take an extra day, 2 extra days. One, to fly into the place so it doesn't cut into our vacation. And 2, well, good food always has to be on the menu, right? And a nice place to stay. Because if I'm going to leave home, I want to do equal or better. So we will gear our vacation around food, sightseeing, and a good place, good people, because I love people watching. I like to see people in their environment and stuff like that. So the reason why I said all of this to say, when I travel, I indulge myself. And like I said, all of these plans, we'll have to see these different places, right? And the day come, and we fell to sleep in late and catch breakfast on the back end. That's what we did, because that's what we felt like doing today. Even though there was these plans, oh, we gotta go to the waterfall. We're gonna go to the beach. We're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. But the morning came and it was like, you know what? I don't feel like getting up. Because in your regular life, especially with my husband, with the type of work that he did, he always, had to be somewhere at a particular time. Now that he's retired, and he's like, I don't want to live by the clock, an alarm clock or being there, a schedule. He said only his doctor's appointment he should be scheduling. So we really indulge and enjoy ourselves. Another thing is, even when I know I was talking about my bathroom, but even when it comes to dishes, that's one of my things. I like dishes because I don't think that I should have to go to a restaurant to eat in a fabulous dish or have a table setting at a restaurant or different course and stuff like that. So it's like when we're cooking, and actually I was kind of raised like that and not even know it. My mom never cooked just like one thing for us. It was always a little bit of this and a little bit of that. But it was out of, in a way, necessity, because nothing go to waste. So she will, like for instance, my mom wore many hats, right? So if she was washing clothes, because I remember when we didn't have a washing machine, so you had to manually wash the clothes. So if I will wash the smaller stuff, because I was the, girl. I will wash the smaller stuff. My mom would wash the bigger stuff. So if she were outside, washing the clothes, meanwhile, she washing the clothes, she would take, if some of it need to get some sunlight, because the sun could bleach clothes to make them pretty white. In the islands, you get pearly white because you put them out on your fence and make the sun beat it so it could take out whatever stain and stuff like that. Yeah, so she was outside and she put some clothes on the fence. When I say the fence, is like the bushes to get some sunlight. So after she finished doing that, she may come in, whip up a cake, start the meal or something like that. And then she was outside and she looked out and she see like her garden was being overtaken by some weeds. While the pot is on the stove and the clothes is getting some sunlight, she will go in the garden, pull the weed away from her kitchen garden, and then she finished with that, and then she'll start sweeping. But meanwhile, she has a cake in the oven or bread, which she handmade that, and then she have clothes on the fence. She got a child beating, like spanking. She got a child, cause she made time for that one. That was her specialty for us. So she had like her hand in like many different things, right? So the cake in the oven was supposed to stay in for like, say 15 minutes or 10 minutes. And the bread, I'm gonna leave the bread in. That's her. I'm gonna leave the bread in so it could get brown on the top a little bit. Need a little bit more color. That was her thing. Need a little bit more color. So with doing all of that, something may get lapse. Not beating the kids ain't gonna get lapse. So by the time she get back into the kitchen, the cake may dry out a little bit. She took out the bread is fine. It never bothered her that the cake sort of dried out, right? This is what my mom would do. And I think that's what made her like this excellent baker. Self-taught. My mom I'm gonna go around the bend again. My mom would take the cake, not even make it an issue, break it all up, crumble it all up in a bake pan. Not in a bake pan, in a bowl. And she would add some milk to it. She'll add some eggs. And she'll crumble that cake that kind of got dried out, not the way she wanted it. And I forget what else she'll put in there, but she'll put a few things in there. And then she will just put it back in the oven. And it will bake. But it'll be a different consistency from the original cake that she was making. But it was still good because it was more of like when she redid it that way, it was more two things that could come to mind. If she let it dry out a bit, it will be more of a consistency of, it's still sweet, it's still a cake. I'm just telling you about the consistency. It doesn't taste like it, but it's like you doing cornbread stuffing. How you would bake the cornbread and then break it up and just add the stuff to it. But only difference, it was a cake, but she didn't use like anything that you use in the stuffing for cornbread. It's the same concept. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah. And then on the flip side, according to the density of the cake that she originally made, if it was a heavier cake, the middle of it will be warm and gooey, like if you had made like a bread pudding or a molten chocolate cake without the oozing part. Because I'm saying that because the middle was like the best thing. You know how you just wait sometimes to lick an icing? That's how the inside of the cake would be. Because remember, this thing already baked. And she just add a few things to it to plump it up back. And especially if she were to put it in like the cupcake 10, everybody individually will get a bite of that warm custody feel in the middle. So my mom taught us and showed us, not just told us, because even today that's how she lived. She could make some stuff happen on the cheap, low. One of the meals that I remember my mom making when we were younger, right? Was one Friday. It was 10 of us in the home, and it was always one person cook for everybody. So whoever light the stove, either my mom or my dad. So who will do the cooking? My brothers, well, maybe every now and then, but my parents had to be home. I didn't know how to cook. I guess they didn't let me around the stove. They just knew they was gonna be homeless. They let me around the stove. It was a Friday. We came from school, and it was always something there to eat. But my mom, she might have, I think she came home. My mom owned her own business, right? So that day, I don't think she was working. She might have had a doctor appointment. So we kind of like came home together. So she was like, oh Lord. She said when I was in town, because she always shopped on a Saturday, but it was a Friday. And during the week, fixing kids, lunch, breakfast, dinner, everything in between. She, sometimes, like I say, certain things don't always add up. So my mom went in the kitchen. I wasn't thinking about the meal because we wasn't like really hungry, because I said we practically came home together, and we never like really came home hungry because we had like relatives like all over the place. We'll stop and stop. Auntie want to feed you. This one want to feed you. That's how the islands is. It really takes a village, right? And you come home, you're not hungry. We were never hungry. So my mom was like, I don't know what I'm giving y'all for supper. In the islands, they say supper. So she got in the kitchen, and she never complained either. Got in the kitchen, and I'm like, but she said she don't have nothing. But the best smell was coming out of this kitchen. And, well, when my mom was in the kitchen, we can go in the kitchen. Unless she call you in there. So the best smell was coming out of this kitchen. So it was time for dinner, supper, and she put this food on the table, and we all looking at it like, what's that? No, we couldn't question it. As kids are so vocal these days, we're like, yuck, ew. We knew better. We'd have been dead already. So she put the food on the table for us, and we all looking at each other. So we couldn't look for long. The first person dived in, and it was like, woo! So the next person was curious now. The next person was like, woo! Like, ooh, in a good way. And then everybody after, we start eating. Boy, we ate that food, and we could have had seconds. Because my mom never cooked a little bit, right? She will stretch it. She will stretch that food from here to wherever. Because I told you guys, she always cooked. So if someone passed by, they could have some food. So it was never like scraped to the bottom of the pot. So my mom, what she did was, she looked in the fridge. She had some spinach. Okay, I guess she took that out. She had rice. She put that out. She had some salt meat, like maybe salt pigtails or, that type of cured type of meat. She put that out. She has some seasoned chicken. Remember yesterday I was telling you guys, when I go like meat shopping, because I go meat shopping separate from grocery shopping. So I will clean up all my meat, season them up, and portion them out so it's easier for me to cook. So she did that. I guess some of that was in the fridge. Just a little bit of like all different type of meats, right? And there's that spinach. Um, but one thing wasn't lacking. One thing wasn't lacking. It was the flavor. And this lady, she put a little bit of this and she put a little bit of that, and maybe the kitchen sink, she might have put her feet in it. Yeah. So she put a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And let me tell you, she put all of that different meats that I'm telling you about, the little bit of this, maybe 2 pieces of chicken wings, another 2 chicken legs that she cut up, and smoked meat, like different types of meat. And that lady put that food together. Ooh, it's something like a pilau. Pilau is Trinidad national dish. It's rice and chicken with the same type of brown gravy like I showed you guys the last time for the oxtails, but it's not oxtails. They use chicken and pigeon peas and peas and carrots and stuff in there, and then cook it down and make like a one pot. It was something like that, but my mom had pigtails, neck bones, like mama did that. And she cooked that bad boy down. Rice is all fluffy. You could see the specks of spinach in there, and the flavoring was like out of this world, right? So that was like, and it's a simple meal, but that was like just something that one of many things that I enjoyed about my mom. She just never complained. She just made it happen. And even if she made it happen on a 50 cents budget, it was good. It was good. But the flavoring was always there because she always had like a kitchen garden where she could go put some celery. She could go pull some thyme. She had some green peppers there, always some onions, you know? So like in these times, I actually wanted to do, when the quarantine started, I wanted to do like Dollar Tree meals that people could have, because that's like the cheapest food that you could buy. I mean, sometimes you could get it in the regular supermarket, maybe for like 2 for $1, or you get like, different type deals with like, different canned goods. But baby, yes, make it work. So make it work. I remember too, growing up, like on Sundays, we from Grenada is like a Catholic background, and on Sunday the whole city is shut down, and there's like people driving from village to village to sell like ice cream and stuff like that. And my mom, she always said, your money is better with you. And if you could make it at home, you save more. Plus you will have more for later than just the one ice cream cone. My mom would make us ice cream on Sundays. Well, while the other kids is chasing the ice cream van for one scoop, we had a whole bowl we could eat. My mom, she'll make ice cream. She'd already bake cakes, tarts, turnovers. She will bake bread, because we didn't buy bread. My mom baked handmade, no machine, fresh bread. And to think about it, I don't even think we appreciated it as kids. It's only like after I traveled and I didn't have my mom, I realized, God, I miss that cooking. And then I got hungry and I had to figure out how to make me something to eat because I didn't know how to cook. But I just remember like things that she would do or herbs that she would use. I remember what was in her garden because my mom involved us in, she was planting stuff outside. We all were outside doing something. And the reason why I say my mom more, my dad did the same thing too, but my mom was home a little bit more, right? And she always told us that, stories about how poor she grew up. And she wanted us to know how to do like different things. So, if my mom was home and then it was raining and mud or water was coming towards the yard, my mom would get my brothers and she was like, y'all come on. And they'll go out there and dig a trench. And, my dad, he was off working. But she just made it do what it do. She just made it happen. So that's why a lot of things that you guys will see me do is like I invoke my mom a lot of the times because my mom just made a way out of no way. Like, so that's why you will see me building things. I'll get an idea and I will cut a wall open and pound a nail and a hammer or build something or create something. I will say this. I remember the first tag I did for YouTube. It was I forget the name of the tag. That's how I knew that Wani knew off me. Chick tagged me in something, girl. I was acting a fool in the house. So, and they ask one of the questions in the tag, who inspire you the most about decorating a person? And my mom did. My mom, this is the first person I see make flowers out of something that you shouldn't make flowers out of. My mom used to make plastic flowers. My mom used to make cloth flowers. My mom always, even though she had 1,000,001 kids, our house was nice. She always put that bad boy together. The only thing I didn't like about my mom's house, that lady had 1,000,001 figurines. And it was my job to dust them. Like, she didn't need that much stuff. And then had me doing it. Like, I had to, every Saturday, I had to get a cloth and wipe these little Mary and Joseph. And, girl, I don't even remember what half of those stuff was. You know how many times I thought about if she wouldn't miss them, that I'd dig a hole in the backyard and put them? Because I hated them. I hated her little figurines, angels, and she gonna give me a wet cloth and a dry cloth. Ain't gonna tell me to clean them. Like, lady, didn't you buy them? That's to be in my head, not out of my mouth now. Didn't you buy them? Why don't you clean them? So, that's why in my decor now, I like using large pieces because my mom scarred me. Good morning. My mom scarred me with these little figurines. So I would buy a big statue, or instead of having 4 little tables, I'll buy 1 big table. Because she had it sectioned off where she had this area with this. You couldn't put nothing on the coffee table because she had this decorated with this. Yup. So the person that I learned how to do these type of things from, and a feminine touch and feminine side, was my mama. Cooking. Like I said, I didn't know how to cook when I left home at 16 to come to the U.S. But who inspired me more with the cooking? My mom. Because I remember flavors. flavors that will make your mouth dance. That's what I remember about cooking. Mama could take la 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 and put it in a bowl and toss it with something. Let me tell you what my mom did one day. She had sent my brother, you remember I tell you guys in the beginning, every Saturday my mom, it was a lot of us, she did a big shopping. And I still shop like that because I remember how she shopped. And it's always, and I still do it too, two of everything. Like it's never one meal or a small meal. It's a waste to go to the store and buy a small meal. You taking the same gas, everything, right? So it's everything big. I buy like 25 pounds of rice, 25 pounds of flour. And today I still do the same thing. And I don't even have that much kids as my mom. And then my mom, my kids don't even eat like that. They eat in small settings. So my mom sent my brother, I don't know if she wasn't feeling good because I can't remember. She sent my brother to go food shopping and gave him a list. And off of that list, he forget to get macaroni. And she wanted to make macaroni and cheese. But in the islands, we call it macaroni pie because we make macaroni and cheese, what we call pie in the islands. We make it as a quiche, like it's tight. Cheesy, good, that good New Zealand cheese. It's a real sharp cheese and it's extra good. So, plus she put like fresh herbs and all of that. So it's more like a quiche that I would say. But in the islands, they would say it's a pie, macaroni pie. So, because there's different type of pies. So, my brother had forgot to get the macaroni. Remember I told you guys, well, Saturday she did her big shopping. On Sunday, because it was a Catholic society that we lived in, all stores were closed because that's the rule in the country, like all stores close. After a certain time, like on Sunday evening, that's when the store will open back up. But in the morning till late evening, all stores are closed. So my mom, she didn't let that bother her. My mom cooked rice, right? And in my head now that I know how to put food together, and I've never made it. That's something I should make. I never heard of it, because little kids, we never went to restaurants or anything like that. So I never heard of anybody doing that. So my mom boiled rice. I think it was like the whole rice, like more of the Uncle brand, not like the Carolina rice, that soft rice. It's like Uncle Ben. And everything that she would have put in that macaroni pie, all of the herbs, the seasonings, the whatever, the milk, whatever, that lady put. She cooked the rice. I'm thinking, I never made it, but I'm thinking now that I know how to put food together, she would have had to cook it on the soft side, like if you were making maybe rice pudding. So she cooked the rice, right? And then she added the cheese, the milk, all of the stuff that she would add it. But the difference is, you see like how I cook down the herbs, cut it up real small, and cook down the onions, the green peppers, and all of that. She cooks it first. Like when I say cook it, like saute it in a pot with like a little bit of olive oil and butter. She cooked that down first, and then she seasoned it, like flavor it up, and then she add her cheese. Now I'm envisioning it in my head because I told you guys I never make it. So now that I know how to put food together, I'm thinking like maybe that's what she did, and I'm gonna try it one day. And she put all of that stuff in there, right? And she greased her pan, and homegirl baked it. And dinner time come. We had I think she had two starches, so we had the macaroni, and I think she had made potato salad too. And my mom always cooked on Sunday. She always cooked two different type of meat. She may make like a roast chicken, and then she'll make like a stew beef, so we could get the stew beef for the sauce and whatever. She always made two meats from as long as I can remember. She always made two meats on the Sundays. Because Sundays, during the week, she made us like, one pot dinner. It was always, because she worked, it was always like, she put food on the table, put it like that. So my mom, she get this rice and flavor up this rice because my brother didn't buy macaroni. And let me tell you, this thing, you didn't need no meat, no sauce, no nothing to eat it. She made rice pie. I have never heard, my aunt used to say to my mom, this type of stuff you make, it's good, but they gonna lock you up. Are you supposed to put this with that? And she be like, in my kitchen, everything goes. So, yeah, she made rice pie, like how you make a macaroni and cheese. She took rice and she did that. And we had callaloo outside. Like callaloo is like it's like a heart. It has a root, right? And I don't know if you eat the root of it is like maybe in the islands they call it like a dasheen. And it's like ground food. And we had callaloo. I seen somebody here had that leaf. It's shaped like a heart shape. And my mom will grab a little bit of that from out. It grew by a water area, like a water path. And she'll get some of that, right? It's equivalent to, and it has the iron also as spinach. But spinach have these small little leaves. And that plant has like huge leaves. And you could you cut them up, slice them up. It's bigger than collard greens leaf. But collard greens is hard. But this one here, collard greens is a harder consistency. That leaf that I'm telling you about, callaloo, girl, she put that together, like boil some pigtails or some salted pig feet. Let me tell you, my mom we raise animals too, right? So after she'll get a butcher, like every Christmas, we'll kill like a pig. When I say we, it's because I lived in the house. We had chickens, so my mom used to cut the chicken neck off herself. Lord, that's torture for kids. Lord, why my mom not in jail? Oh, Lord. Yeah, we had chickens, and we had goats and stuff. Yup. We had one goat that was a pet. That the goat used to just come in the house. Yep. So I'm telling you, my mom, some of my best memory of food. That's why I'm so open to trying different people food, different culture. By nature, I'm gonna tell y'all the truth. I'm very nosy. Just like yesterday when I was walking, I met up with a neighbor. Me and the kids were walking, and she was like, "Oh, stop by." I said, "Well, if you cook, I'll see. That's a way in. If you cook, I'll definitely stop by." She's Iranian, right? I will try anybody's food once. I try. People say that, "Oh, I don't eat from any and anybody." Now, if I go into your place and it's nasty, I wouldn't eat. I may drink. But for some people that say, "Oh, I don't eat from any and anybody," my thing is, if you go to a restaurant whether it be high end or low end, hole in the wall. And you don't know, they could have the front clean because they just happen to have a person that know how to clean. You never see the cook. You don't know if when he talking now that we know, but airborne and how you call it, the coronavirus, right? You don't know what the airborne is when people talk, like a little bit of spit always leave your mouth. You know how much spit you don't got in your food with the chef in the back with no teeth? You know how much spit you don't got in your food with the chef that have no teeth in front of his mouth and he talk like this. So they say God look out for babies and fools, you know. So if I see the field, I would not eat. But if you eat out from any type restaurant, whether it be fast food or whatever it is, you stand a chance of getting somebody spit in your food or, you know, some. So I'm careful about cleanliness and I do it in my place. But for a person who loves cuisines, we may eat one or two junk. You don't know if, like, when you get that good old Italian sauce that grandma makes, you don't know if part of the tomato was rotten and then she just cut the top off and just put it in there. So, you know, in terms of like people cooking, and people will say like, ugh, that's nasty. Baby, you just haven't tried it, you know? There's certain things I cannot eat, like I wouldn't eat frog legs. I go to a grocery store, girl, in the South, they got frog legs sitting there, and I'm like, well, from what I know of a frog, girl, no. But I wouldn't down nobody who eats frog. I mean, it's difference of opinion. To me, I just see them as a menace. And growing up, my brothers, they raised rabbits, and my mom will never eat it. She will cook it for them, but she'll, you know, clean it up. My brothers will kill a rabbit. My mom will clean it up, season it up, and they'll gut it out, do all of that. And she'll flavor it and cook it for them, but she will never eat it. Another thing is, my mom raised goats, right? We raised goats. And my mom took a liking to this one goat. She used to eat goat before, right? But this one goat, she took a liking to. And what happened? The mother had this goat. She's pregnant, had goat. I think she had like about, like 3. Either 3 or 4 she had, right? So we as kids, we were just so excited. Like, my mom wasn't home, and when we came from school, the little baby goats was there. So we went and we named the goats, and we stopped playing with them. That's a no-no. Fresh new baby. We did not know, because my mom, the animal stuff, her and my dad took care of that. And my older siblings, the younger ones, didn't know. So we got the goat, and then mommy came home, and we picked the goat up, and we bring it in the house, and she was like, no, don't touch him. Why y'all picked the goat up? How long y'all had it in your hand? She was like, my God. So the story is, if you pick up a new animal, like I only know about the goats, the mother no longer smelled her scent on the goat, so she would not breastfeed the goat. She just cast it away. So the one that we liked the most, that's the one we played with. I can't remember if we picked up all of them, but I remember I and my brother had a goat in our hand, and we brought it in the house. That goat had, you know, like red hair people? That goat was just red all over when it was born. But the red is not as a red hair person. It was like as a red, like blood red, like red. It was like so unusual, right? So so we took the goat back and tried to force the mother to feed it, and she will kick the baby, the new baby. She'll just kick it out. So my mom stand aside, like tried to help her to rub the goat on her to get the scent back, to get our scent off, and to push the goat back, and she would not accept it back. So we raised the goat, and my mom would make a little box and put the goat on the porch. We call a porch a veranda. That's French. I think it's French. A veranda, but it's same as a deck or something like that. Yeah. So she would put it in a box, and my mom would literally go to the goat, because the goat, they know mama, and she will get the milk from the mother's breast. She'll actually milk the goat and get a baby bottle. And after she milked the goat, get a baby bottle and pour the milk in a bottle and feed the goat. She will bottle feed the goat, yeah. So we fed this goat. Goat is getting strong because they don't take that much time. They born and then they stand up and start doing their things. Don't seem like a cow. So we feed this goat. So time now, after a few weeks, goat got strong. For this goat to go play, to go be with his friends, the people that look like him, the goat will not leave. So the goat, true story, the goat just become like one of us. I remember one day, well, I got the most beaten in all my siblings, right? Because I just did the most. I'd have beat me too, half of the stuff that I did. I used to just break stuff to see how it worked. So one day, it could have been me. I mean, one of my siblings, but most likely it might have been me that I'm the one who was getting the beating. Because I remember in one day, I might have got like 10 beatings. So my mom was spanking one of us, and she get a switch, and like, oh, mommy, no. Girl, why the goat? Morning. Why the goat started jumping in the middle and jumping and trying to get in the middle. The goat trying to get in the middle of my mom spanking whoever was getting spanked. And the goat was bucking and doing, but it wouldn't harm us. It was like the commotion, the noise that the goat was making. It was so distracted that whoever it is never end up getting the beating, because the goat got in the middle. You know what? I think she ended up hitting, my mom used to beat everything. I think she ended up hitting the goat with the bell, talking about, get away, and the goat would not leave. So everybody started laughing. So nevertheless, the person who was getting the beating that day did not end up getting the beating, because the goat, if she had to spank one of us, she had to make sure the goat was outside. And the funniest story, the goat spent so much time with us. After a while, it was like, you cannot come in the house, goat. You are a goat. Go play with other goats. But it was a pet. So at night, my mom would lock the door. She had to like talk to it to leave, right? She was like, okay, now it's time to leave. We're going to go to bed. And, go ahead. I'm telling you, that goat would be in the kitchen. So my mom was like, okay, go ahead. See you tomorrow. As clockwork, my mom woke up because we had to be to school for like 8:30. My mom will wake up about 6 a.m. to make breakfast, and my brothers will go tie the animals out, because we bring it close in the evening and then put it out to pasture, before they leave in the morning. After we make up our beds, go put the animals out. I didn't have to work with the animals. My brothers did. I might have did some girl stuff in the house, like they call it. So my mom, this happened 6 o'clock. every morning, like the goat know when she got up. The goat, because it spends so much time with us, the goat will talk. The goat called my mom, like the goat will come to the door and take his horn if my mom is taking too long and bang on the door. And it was the back door. It will take his horn, bang on the door once, twice. She didn't answer that door. The goat literally say, Ma! Ma! Guys, true story. The goat name was Nanan. And I don't even know how we end up with the goat Nanan. The goat, well, I heard it say Ma, because it sounded like Ma. My mom knew it said Ma, and all of us knew that the goat say Ma. So it will come, Ma! And my mom would literally answer the goat, thinking about it. She'd be like, listen, stop making that noise at the damn door. She like, I tell you I am coming. And the goat will wait a few minutes if she late coming, because she might be at the other end of the house. It will knock the door, Ma! Like it was getting angry and angry. So she'll like, you know what, you getting on my nerve. So she'll just go open the door, and the goat will walk in. And true story, if the goat had to use the bathroom, it went outside, do what it had to do, and it came back in the house. I remember the goat used to be in the house, sit down, watching the Christmas tree was like amazing to the goat. So it's like the 24th of December, like it's like shopping time, and you put on your best outfit and go in the city. We came home, we smelled like good old scent from the road. My mom is baking like, black cake, Caribbean black cake, rum cake, and, cooking ham and making bread, like woo, parang, like, all the goodies, right? So we walk in the house. One of my memory of the goat, it was sitting in front of the Christmas tree, just watching it. Like, how does this thing work? Why is this new thing in this corner? Why is this thing in my house? So we had a pet goat, and the only talking it did is said Ma. And the other thing, the goat act like a dog. Someone will come to the yard, the dog will go, "Roo, roo, 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 roo," letting you know somebody coming through, right? The goat here, and the goat used to push the dog around. It was a male goat, the ram. The goat will, take his horn and get the dog away. Like he was the boss of the yard plus the house. The goat, someone will come by, they will have to scream, like, please hold the goat. The goat is trying to, the neighbor will call it, the goat is trying to hurt somebody, get the goat. The goat act like a dog. So I remember it was someone that came to visit. Like there's these Syrian people that goes around with bags, like big old bags, selling stuff through the neighborhood in the village. So he went to people's house. Then he was trying to come to our house. So this goat gave him a run for his money. The goat seen him, and he was just walking up to the yard like nobody business, because I guess he don't know about our goat. The goat charged at this man. The man had to drop his bag. The goat was chasing him. And literally, anytime the goat act up, none of us could go get the goat. It was only my mom, because she was the one, I guess, that first fed the goat. So he just knew that was his mom. So my mom had to come out. It was a Sunday. My mom had to come out and literally get a stick and call the goat, telling the goat. She said, you know what? When you come back here, I'ma beat you. My mom used to talk to the goat like it was one of us. So she called the goat. And then she called it like a few times. And if you don't come back here, you can't come in the house. That was the last thing she said to the goat. And he heard what she said. And then he just left the man alone, because the man bag is in our yard. And the goat just walked back to the house. Actually, it went and hide from my mother. And wait till like a few, he feel like she wasn't mad anymore. And he just came back in the house. And then she threatened it and said, the next time you chase somebody around here like that, I'm going to beat you. My mom used to threaten to be, well, my mom used to be the go tell the truth. Because anytime she had to hit one of us, like we had to get a beating, if the goat was there, we couldn't get the beating. So she'll like hit the goat with the belt so the goat could leave. But it never did. And it was just so funny having a goat as a pet. So, guys, I am back home. And how many people are in here? 7 thumbs up, 6 people. Um, I was thinking about, I was thinking about cooking, right? I was thinking about today's dinner is curry crab, and what's the name? I'm gonna do some type of vegetable, but I'm making a curry crab and coconut milk with dumplings and I don't know what else. But I have everything that I need in the house for it. So, so let me see who's on so I can say hi to you guys after you heard my goat story. My mom beat everything that moved in the house. Yeah, I remember when the goat died, like we all cried when the goat died. So after having the goat as a pet, my mom just never ate goat up until today. She just never ate goat. So that was like in her 40s. So yeah, my mom just never ate goat again. Yeah. I have so many like fun stories growing up as a kid. And I wouldn't change it. I got the most beaten in all of them, but I wouldn't change it because thinking about some of the stuff that I did, girl, when I tell my kids, it wasn't nothing fresh or rude or anything like that. I was just mischievous because I was the only girl, right? So I think I did a lot of things for attention, but it's even after leaving and coming to the US, I realized I got more attention than everybody else. What was my problem? I remember I used to just my brother had this mercury. That's I was telling you guys. Um, I figure out the mercury glass, how to make the mercury glass pieces that they sell in the store that look so fabulous. I remember it was cold. Let me see. Hi, Beverly. Oh, thank you, love. Yes. Um, I my brother had this piece of mercury. I don't know where he get it from, but I don't know if it was a school project. I don't know what it was, but I remember him bringing it home. Thumbs up the video for me, guys. I remember him bringing it home, right? And I'm looking at it, and I'm like, how does this thing work? So my brother put it down, right? And put it down. I'm like looking at it, like every time I turn it like this, it will float and stuff like that. I'm like, and then it will change color from silver to like a dark, like a chrome type. And I'm like, how does this thing work? I'm looking at it, right? And I said, I gotta figure out how this thing works. My brother left the day, one day, the second day I seen it there. I said, I'm gonna break it open. And I took the thing and I went and I hid. I forget where I hid, maybe up under the house. I went and I hid, right? And I took a rock and I started hitting it, right? I just started hitting it like real soft. And then it break and then all the stuff came out. And then I'm like, oh well, I can't put it back now. Okay. Oh, thank you. Thank you, love. I love you too, Mildred. And I broke, like I said, I broke it, right? Right under by the side of the house, dirt right there, right? I just took it and I just covered it there. And guys, Like a few days after my brother needed it, girl, and everybody is like, oh, you seen this? And I'm sitting there and I'm not saying nothing, right? But they never noticed that I'm sitting there, like, went to look for stuff, because most of the time I'm the one who took it, took it and damaged it, right? And I'm like, I'm just sitting there, and everybody helping looking for it, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, I was thinking back to the moment before I picked it up, like, you should not have picked it up, because it's not like you could find another one and put it back. And I just said that he looked and looked and just never found it. And then I don't know who he had to tell that he couldn't find it, but he couldn't find it. And then my mom had this famous line: why you bring somebody else's stuff up in here? Kids cannot give you anything. They have a parent. It's the parent that bought it. They're not working. Why you brought that up in here? And girl, I thought trying to think back, he might have gotten a beating because we couldn't bring stuff for other people in our house. That's how my mom had it. So I broke that. Let me tell you, some of the stuff that I did as a kid, it was all mischievous, like in the house. Like, it wasn't to the neighbors or anything like that. I needed to know how stuff works. And I think that's my curiosity of even building things these days. I remember my brother, he saved up his money and he bought this bow and arrow. And he would pull the bow and arrow back, and then it would just go, when he put the spear out, it would just go sailing. But my hands were so little, I couldn't pull it back. So I figured, if I cut a little to make it more pliable for me, if I cut it a little bit, it will make it loose, and then I can make it go flying too. But with my little hands, I didn't know how to gauge the cut. And my brother saved for that for months, because my mom didn't just give us toys and stuff like that. If for like a birthday or whatever, we never had birthday parties. She would like make us a cake. We all would sing happy birthday to each other. My mom will she'll like say, here's $200 that I'm giving you. You cannot spend a dime out of it, because I feed you, I clothe you, I do everything for you. You're gonna put it in the bank. Like, as soon as we could assign our name, my mom opened up a bank account for us. So he had to save the money to buy that, because my mom didn't believe in buying toys, okay? So I cut the thing with a razor blade, and I couldn't gauge the cut, but I cut it so thin that when I pulled the arrow back, yeah, the arrow fell on the ground, all right, because the thing was popped. So you remember the callaloo bush that I tell you, but it grows like really high? I went and I got the callaloo. I went onto the callaloo bush, and it was the thickest brush closest to the house, where I could have hid it where nobody see me, right? So I took it, right, and I went and I threw it down through the callaloo. And I was scared. I was absolutely scared, because some of the stuff my mom did realize I was the one that did it. It's like my mom knew me. You know what my mom used to say to me? She was like, girl, you did that. I could take a piece of mud and make you. That's how I know you. I know you did it. And 99.99% of the time, she was right. Yeah. 99.99999% of the time, I did it. And yeah, I would lie and say, I don't know who did it. Yes, the heck, I lied. And I remember, I don't even know why I did the one. I don't even know why I did it. So, the bow and arrow, I know why I did it. I wanted to work. My little hands couldn't make it go sailing like my brother's strong hands. And girl, I hid this stuff. So, like, many years after, he never found his bow and arrow. He ended up buying another one. So many years after, they were going to put an addition to the house, right? An extension to the house. So they were clearing up part of where the callaloo is to the front of the house, right? Because the callaloo also will look like It is so pretty. It would look like it's green, and like I say, it's like a heart leaf. It would look like part of your regular front garden. Because my mom had flower garden too. So they cleaning up some of that brush there to put the extension to the house, and my brothers and them using their cutlass and cut down, the machete, and we call it the cutlass home, and cutting down the stuff to for when the guy come to do the measuring for the home to build the extension. And one of my brothers cut into it. Mind you, I had even forgotten that I done thrown it down the collar, the piece of bow and arrow. My brother was like, "Oh, look what I found, Godfrey! I found your bow and arrow." So my brother run, come. He was like, "Oh my God!" The rubber bust on it. Girl, I kept the straightest face. I didn't know what they were talking about. I just kept looking like straight ahead, like, and honestly, up to today, I just never said it because I never told them that I did. I'm telling you guys, but I never told them because honestly, half of the things that I did, it was like how you just pick up a Perella. It might be actually when I get off here, go to my community feed and I'll post a picture of it. Yeah, I mean, I've seen it in the US, but they use it as part of like the a look of a garden. Let me see, I seen that plant somewhere around here before. I'll go on and look for a plant for it for you and show it. But in the islands we eat it, we call it kalaloo. If you could Google it, it'll show you. It's like a heart plant. It might be right because even in the islands, most of the islands cook the same thing. They may call it different name, and the reason why they may call it different name because different slaves, well, they come from different part. They mix the slave. They came from different parts of Africa. So one may bring this from their tribe, another one may bring another name for their tribe, and which is more of the tribe in the place, they will carry on the name of whatever food or whatever it was. But most of the islands cook the same thing. They just call it different name. Okay, Asian culture. Okay, okay, okay. So it may just be the name that you call it in your country, but it may be the same thing you're talking. We are not that much difference. I'm telling you guys, we're not that much different. Yeah, so that's like part of my story. And honestly, I gave birth to a child who was the same way that I was, had to figure out how things work. Melissa is the child. No, it's not related to the mint family. It has a really huge leaf. We had mint in our yard. We had bamboo bush. We had wheat. We had I forget that grass name, but you could actually drink. You could boil it and drink it. Yeah. Yes. So I gave birth to a child was my in my mischievous path, Melissa. That's why you will see like if I'm doing work around the house, she will gravitate and she will come help me because in a lot of ways Melissa and I are alike in a lot of ways. And we could get on each other's nerve too because we're a lot alike in that way. Yes, yes, yes. Yes, it's heart shaped. I think the only other big leaf like that is a banana leaf. Is the banana tree leaf, and then the kalaloo. They call it like a dasheen bush, but I think in the U.S. they call it something different. And Melissa was like that. Melissa's father had a Rolex watch, and she's looking at the watch, and the Rolex has like different, it had different zones, circling it with it, like, the little. Melissa looked at the watch. I saw when she picked it up, and I said, Millie, that's your father's watch. Put it down. She had to be about 7 years old, 6, 7 years old, maybe 8. She went back and she picked up that Rolex. Now, you guys know Rolex is one of the most expensive watches in the world. He treated himself to a Rolex watch for his birthday. We just forgot about the watch day because he had different watches that he, will wear to work. So one day, her dad was home early and she was so quiet, but he knew that she went into the closet. When he went into the closet, Millie had a screwdriver trying to open his Rolex watch. She had a screwdriver. Actually, she had two screwdrivers, one to push it open and one to pong on it. And she started to pong on the Rolex watch. That's how he knew. He saw her go in the closet, but then he heard the pounding in the closet. She was about to break that Rolex watch open to see what makes the hand move. And honestly, I was looking at her. It's like I was looking at myself, because I'm like, that's what I did when I was little. I needed to know how it worked. And that's how I got, like, you see me do a lot of like construction type work. The one thing you wouldn't see me do, and I might build up the courage to do it, is to hang like a chandelier or mess with like a light switch. I was electrocuted as a kid because of my inquisitiveness. I was electrocuted, and up to today, it does have an effect on me. It's like, I think twice before I flick a light switch, um, anything to do with electricity, I will plug it up and then move back real fast. Like that happened to me when I was like about 8, 9 years old. And I still remember the feeling that it had because I was like really skinny. Hey, sugar, sugar. I miss you, Deanna. Deanna been pimping. I ain't gonna say the word, and she just. Deanna, I'm telling them about my mischievous days growing up as a kid and having a goat for a pet, and the goat used to say "ma, ma," and we all thought the goat would say "ma" because as soon as my mom would talk, it's like the goat knew what my mom said. No, um, I wasn't fresh as a kid. I wasn't fresh as a kid. I have 10 brothers, right? I was the only girl. And I think a lot of the mischievous thing, because my mom didn't play that. My mom, girl, let me tell you, my mom put the fear of God in me. The only thing she couldn't get me to do was stop breaking stuff in the house, like to see how things work. Let me tell you, um, my mom was the type of mother, and I honestly believe that if I was to do anything that she didn't like as a, fresh as a kid, like, get with a boy, like, I'm gonna tell y'all my story about my first time, but one day I'll tell you guys that. But I was older. It wasn't in my country. It wasn't in my country. It was here, away, far away from my mama, girl. So my mom put the fear of God, it included my brothers, because she always said, my mom had this old saying, wherever you blow your nose, wherever you catch your cold, that's where you're gonna go blow your nose. Girl, yeah, she said a lot of crazy stuff. And that means wherever you got pregnant, that's where you're gonna go back and stay. No, she didn't, girl. Girl, Deanna, my mom beat me 10 times in one day. And she told me, she said, I ain't never gonna get tired. It's either you go. Let me tell you what I did. One of the last things that I remember that I did to my mom, I was mischievous. I was mischievous to my brothers, and I was mischievous to my mom. I just did the darndest thing. Oh, let me tell you one I remember. I remember we had two cats, right? And every night, my stepdad, my dad, he will, yes, girl. I just it was for the heck of it. I think I did it for attention. But then after I was older, I realized my mom gave me more attention than anybody else. I was like her go-to girl for everything. We had our little secrets. We had a little, she'll give me little extra special things and she'd be like, that's between me and you, don't tell the rest. Like, we did a lot of special things together. And she took me places. Like, I wasn't in need for nothing. I just did the most. I remember my dad, he would come every night to go put out the cats, right, to make sure that they didn't spend night in the house. So yeah, girl, like rotten that the half of the stuff that I did, looking back at it, it made no sense that I did what I did because I wasn't deprived of anything. I had everything. So so I went on like those cabinets. Deanna, it's something like the cabinet your grandma had that you have those pretty dishes in that's in your dining room. We had one of that, right? So I heard him, like he meow calling for the cat, right? So when he started calling the cat, the kitten will come, right? So I went and I hid under the cabinet because I was this little skinny bony little thing, right? I went under this and fall my back and get all the way under it. It had legs to it, right? And he's coming, and I make my voice sound like a cat. And I'm like, meow. And every time he come closer to chase the cat, I will go faint with it that he would actually think the cat was on the day. I don't know why he didn't turn the light on because he would have seen it was me. So he was coming and he pushed his hand, go to grab the cat, right? I think the cat was just stuck under the thing. And he goes to guide the cat out. And I came, little skinny, long purse thing. I just jumped at him like I was the cat. And I just jumped in, jumped on from under the cabinet. And my dad go running because where this big old cat came from. And he was trying to shush the cat in the dark. So he didn't see what jumped at him. So I jumped at him and he goes running out the dining room, right? And my dumb self came out laughing because I scared the mess out of him. And honestly, I scared him and he ran, but he fell. Lord, when I seen my kids watching Angelica, I'm like, oh Lord, that cartoon Angelica. So I jumped and I'm like, yeah, like I was gonna scratch him up, right? He ran and then his feet like tripped on a shoe and then he fell. He was so mad when he realized I was the one because I was laughing. And he was like, you know what? If I put my hands on you, I'm going to hurt you. I'm going to wait till your mama come. Came home. He told my mom, hello. Came home. I was so scared. He told my mom. My mom just gave me the look. Because you know your parents always had that look that they give you that you just knew. My mom looked at me. She said, you know what? Aren't you tired? Aren't you tired? She said, you know what? I'm tired of beating you. My mom made me get a notebook and she told me, okay, she made me read Ephesians 6. She made me read Ephesians 6 like maybe 10 times, right? That's a scripture in the scripture verse in the Bible. What's the name again? I should know that by heart, right? Where it talks about obeying your parents in the Lord, because this shall be right, and with the commandments and da 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 da. I had to read this thing maybe about 10 times, and I had to read it out loud while I'm kneeling on my knees, because she was like, you so little. If I hit you anymore, I'm going to hurt you. So I had to kneel on my knees, reading the scripture verse, and then I had to get a notebook and I had to write it like 100 times. But I had to write it in between the lines. That's herself. That's her way of making me try to walk straight, like within the lines, like a drunk driver. So I had to write it, and I couldn't write it in cursive. I had to write each letter out, each, yeah. And I had to write it either 100 or 200 times. I remember once I had to stay in the house and I had to write something how I should listen. I should always listen to such and such as something that I said. And she had me write it out 100. I remember once I had to write something 400 times because my mom, after a while, she just refused to hit me because she was like, it's not working. She always doing something. It's not working. So my mom made me punish my own self that I had to stay in the house and write this thing over and over again. So for me, scaring my stepdad with the cat, that was 200, either 100 or 200 times I had to write Ephesians 6, like just write it out. I think the first part of it, obeying your parents. My brothers them will tell you some stories about me. It was one day, because I used to run, right? I was a runner. One time for beating, I was a runner, right? So I would take off running, and I did the most. And I remember, I can't remember. No, I couldn't run from my mom. My mom always said, and I believed everything my mom was saying. She said, the day you run, that was the only person I couldn't run from. She said, the day you run, don't ever come back because I will not accept you back. And because everything my mom told me she was going to do, she did it. I believed that she would never accept me back in the house if I run. So whenever she called me, even though I know I was going to get a beating, even though I was going to cut my own switch, I never ran. It might have been my dad or maybe my aunt, one of them wanted to hit me for some mess I did. I remember I used to hit my brothers too, and they couldn't hit me back because I was the girl, right? They had to tell my mom they couldn't hit me. So I remember one day my brothers was coming. I started to, they see me back and back when they called me because they know I was quick on my feet. I was good at sports too, like running track. I was good at that. So my brothers was, I just knew that they were talking about giving me a spanking, right? So I started backing back with enough room that I could turn around and run. So I saw my brothers coming towards me. Girl, do you know the thorns, the picker stuff that they put on Jesus' head? The thorns? We had like a row of this like on the back of our garden. We use it as fence. And I knew my brothers was coming to get me. I started running. And I heard them, oh, go that way and get her. Man, I started running so fast with my little light self. And then I went airborne. I went airborne. And there was like, oh my God. That's all I heard. Because they had stopped. And they knew the brush, that if I fell on the brush or if I run into the brush, it would have scratched up my whole skin. Because it was that pickery thorn that, you know, the thing they put on Jesus' head after they, while they were crucifying. I ran and I just airborne. I was good at long jump too in sports. And I airborne over this thing and end up in the other neighbor's yard. And all I heard, and my brothers, they remember that, right? They was like, oh, Lord. And I jumped. So they was like, girl, how you do that? So now, like, okay, I finally had to come back home because my mom came home and I was like, you know, hanging out so they wouldn't get me. And my mom finally come home and she was like, bring your tail here. And you know, my mom never had to call us twice. She said it once and you knew to bring your tail here. And that day, I don't even think she beat me. She just put me kneel down on my knees with my hands in the air and I couldn't put it down. Because if she caught you, mind you, when she wasn't looking, I put it down to get a little break because you know your arms will hurt. I timed her and I could hear her. My mom had a particular walk. My mom just glide through the house. She had a particular one. So I will know she was coming through the hallway. So then I'll put my hand up and my eyes closed, like it was like that the whole time. When she leave and she went back, I used to time her because my mom's soul, right? So I knew when she pushed the chair back to come back to the front. So I would hear it. Girl, I'm sitting there, I'm watching TV through one eye, like I'm like watching TV the whole time, my hands down the minute time, or I'm sitting on my calf area. And the minute time she come back up, I put my hand up in the air like I was like this the whole time. Girl, I had fun as a kid, but it was at other people's expense most of the time. Hey, where y'all coming from?
Smoking weed.
William, don't play with me. I'm on live too. Don't play with me. Don't play with me. My mother said weed make you crazy. William just told me he was out smoking weed. No. And you know what? My kids are the only child I told you that have a touch of mischievousness. It was Melissa, but she's like so different now. None of the other kids were like that. God shined on me. So guys, guess what? Let me see what time it is. 2 something. Maybe around 4 o'clock I'll come back and cook with you guys. I have everything here that I need. We're gonna make curry crab. I'm gonna make white rice. I don't know what vegetable. I have to go see what vegetable I have. I might have some frozen vegetables, some fresh vegetables or frozen vegetables I could use. And yeah, about 4:30, I'm gonna start dinner. I should put a post on the community feed, but check for me. I'll come back and I'll make. Oh, maybe I should make maybe sometime this week. Try to make that. I'm gonna call my mom and ask her how she made that rice pie, cause I know she made it after that. My mom was thrifty. Yes, she was. She'll take a can of ooh la la and get some fresh herbs and some tomatoes. Listen, there's nothing that named ooh la la. But I'm just telling you how my mom will take a can of something and make it into something extra special and stretch it, and the whole world will eat. You'll be sitting at my table. You know what? Thank you. I feel kind of funny like cooking and not feeding people because I'm like, I'm a giver. I love to feed people. Like, if I could invite everyone over, and it's going to come a time. Deanna is having a next year. She was supposed to do it this year. She called it a family reunion where she's inviting a whole bunch of people from YouTube, and she's going to do this big get together. I want to do something like that. But when you guys come to me, come with your two long hands. That's the Caribbean way, the Caribbean African way. Come with your two long hands, because you may have to come into state, so you don't have, no way to go cook or do any of that. And come and eat and drink on me, and we could fellowship, and I could tell y'all all my stories. And Mildred, if Mildred in here, I want to hear Mildred's story because I have a feeling, Mildred, her husband is a pastor, right? So she's a first lady. I want to hear about when Pastor met Mildred at a club when she was twerking. Listen, no, I never even know Mildred went to a club. I just like picking on her. But I have a feeling Pastor met Mildred at a club when she was twerking. And she caught Pastor eyes and she made him sin his soul and lost his religion and all of that. I love messing with Mildred. Mildred was one of my first subscribers. Yes. Besides, like family. I think she was one of my first subscribers. So she'll always be my little stinky boo boo. She's a grown woman, like she's an older woman, but I just like messing with her. That's my boo. And Raymond, that's my boo too. Her husband name is Raymond. I've never met them. I think they live in California. But I have to go. I want to visit everybody. But damn, Corona came to town. Corona be acting up. Let me tell you. Oh, I was about to say Corona remind me of when I was little. Nah, I wasn't that bad. I didn't take no life. Well, Corona come to town and it's just put the whole world at a standstill. Actually, I don't really use the word. I don't really call it by its name. I just ignore it. I do everything that I have to do in here. I look at the news maybe every 3 days. We don't live in a panic. The only thing is, I stop all the kids from working because one of my daughters, she worked at Starbucks, and Starbucks was is paying them like practically, I think, like $30 an hour if they will work to this time, plus bonuses or whatever it is. And I didn't want nobody going out and they stand a chance of risking everyone else in the house. So I stop everybody from working and we all are home. And like, y'all see the theater downstairs that is with the flood is totally ripped out, and the guy's been calling to come to do the construction, but I don't want anybody in here. I don't understand this disease. And like I said, we don't talk about it. We just live our lives still the way that we do in terms of our cleanliness, and but we don't bring anything new in here. When I go to buy groceries, well, I always bought in bulk anyway, so I didn't have to get prepped for the virus for that. Because I've always have, like I told you, I shop the way my mom shopped when we were younger. I always have two and three and four of everything. I just can't go to the store and just buy one thing. I always have to buy a lot. So I walk with my Lysol and I wipe down everything before I bring it in the house and put him where in his place. So we don't do anything different. We still live the way we live. Only thing is we don't bring anything in. And you know what my thought about that is? I think all of us life was planned out for us. There is untimely things that happen, whether it be death or incidents or whatever it is. But I cannot live my life in fear of what will happen. I take every precaution. Yeah. Yes. I take every precaution, but I am not living in a panic. I'm still doing everything that I'm doing, but inside the home, but we're not doing it outside. Like, I'm out there walking, I'm just not interacting and touching people because if you guys remember, oh, in my videos, whenever I thrift, I always say everybody home is not created equal, and that's the truth. So that's why even when I come home with like wooden furniture, metal furniture, I don't get cloth furniture. Oh, thank you, love. Evelyn, I think I said your name right. I can't see well. Thank you, love. So um I forget what I was gonna say, but anyway, I just live my life the same. The only difference is when I go outside, I walk with my glove, my face mask, and my Lysol wipes, and I wipe everything, each individual piece down before I bring it in the house. So that's it. But I'm not living my life in a panic. And the thing is, I'm not waiting to live. It's like another thing I notice with a lot of people. Oh, I'll tell you this: what I learned, my one of my lessons in life. My mom had these beautiful dishes growing up, and we never used the dishes. And she always said, "Oh, I'm saving it for when company come." My mom ain't had no friends. She never brought nobody over like that. Well, it was one point I vaguely remember as a kid when the prime minister of Grenada, what? What she said, what Mildred said, what my sugar wooger said. Oh, everything, no shame on you, mom. Yes, yes. Um, yeah, and my mom, she saved these dishes, right? And she's waiting for her company to come. And company never came. And I went home and these dishes are just still sitting there waiting for company. So that's why I use everything I have. Like everything, I don't wait for waiting to live. I don't do that. I don't do that. Like we have it, I take care of it. And I teach my kids like how to have a relationship with these things, that these things are not God. They're not like, oh Lord, mommy put them up on the shelf and you shouldn't touch them. Like they eat with silver, they eat with the crystal, they eat with all of that. But they have a relationship and they know that I care for these things and I want them to, respect or whatever it is. And they take care of the things too. So yeah. So guys, I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go rest for a little bit, calm my body down. I think I did that out here, right? But no, I want to adjust my body back to the house. And then I'm gonna shower, and then around maybe like 4, I'm trying to think if I should do the Dungeness crabs, or do snow crabs. I'm trying to figure out which one that I'm gonna do. I have some extra crab meat that I want to put in the sauce, that because you could eat it with flatbread, and I was thinking to make a flatbread too. Or I think I have some paratas downstairs, some flatbread. Maybe we'll make them together. They're already pre-made, and all you got to do is to just cook them on in a like a pot or a stove. So okay, so guys, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna make curry crab maybe sometime next week or so. Maybe I'll do curry chicken with you guys. But I just wish that I could bring all of you guys here and I could feed y'all and we could fellowship and I could hug on Mildred. No, I hug on Raymond. Give Raymond a good old hug. Mildred told me that Raymond liked my accent. Y'all, half of the time I can't talk. I don't know what I'm saying. Last week I went walking around the neighborhood and I seen this neighbor and we were talking about a storm, and the neighbor said to me, "No," I was like, "In the islands, I have never seen anything like that. I've seen hurricanes, but it wasn't really bad." And a neighbor said to me, he said, "I thought you was from Alabama." I was like, "Ooh." I said, "He really don't know accents." And so my daughter told me, she was like, "Mommy, you know what happened? You started with a Caribbean accent, then we live in New Jersey for all these years. Now you move to the South, you have like some southern like words that you say that is mixed up." My daughter was like, "Mommy, you like a cooker pot, like all different type of accent or dialect, you pick it up. So that's why you sound like you from everywhere but where you're from." I think it's funny. I'm glad that I'm from somewhere else. That I could integrate and meet other people and learn about their culture, because I think everyone culture is so interested and so happening. Like I could get along with anybody. Anybody. I had African friends that they did not speak English, but we communicate with each other. And I did not speak whatever language that they were speaking. I can't remember it now, and Uba, or whatever the word is, and we communicated and have laughter in common. But they didn't speak my language, and I didn't speak their language. I love people. So my lovers, bye bye. I'm gonna go in the house, get myself together, shower up, and then come back. I have some lovely videos for you guys. Look for my videos, and I want you guys to share my videos. Tell somebody about my videos, the videos that I'm posting. I'm not talking about my lives, because my lives is long like my legs. Like nobody gonna sit on there for an hour and listen to them lives. Yeah, so share it with a friend or family. Tell them about this crazy girl that she always making something. She I am, what's the word again? I could use my both hands, so I'm ambidextrous. I think that's the word. Listen, don't fault me for the English language. I come from a culture where we speak Spanish words, but we mean English. We speak French word. We say we and all of that type of stuff and other French word. My language is like kind of mixed up of Creole, Creole with a dialect, with some African words, with some French words, with like, listen, I'm like a good old cook up, like my daughter said. So, yeah, that's what I think is. Anyway, bye, lovers. I talk to you guys later. I think around like 4 o'clock, I'm going to start cooking. So I'll come back to you guys. Look for me, okay? Bye, neighbor. Oi. Neighbor. Oi.